That's it.
Report.
Okay, the chair will call the meeting of the Board of County Commissioners to order this Thursday, August 6th at 9 a.m. Commissioner Levitt is here and Commissioner Feliciano is joining us by Zoom. So,
You might need to check because if we're gonna vote,
Right.
approving the minutes.
right. So Leslie, do you have anybody with you?
I do not.
You do not? Okay.
And where are you?
And where are you?
I'm in Clearwater, Florida on
Okay.
business.
All right. Okay. So that'll, under the law, that will allow you to vote. So the first item on our agenda is to approve minutes of July 30th, 2026. I got a motion to approve by Commissioner Levitt. Are you gonna second it, Leslie?
Second,
Okay, any changes or amendments to the minutes? Not hearing
No.
anything. All those in favor of adoption, indicate by saying aye.
aye.
Okay, those opposed, oh yeah, it has to be a roll call because you're voting. So Commissioner Levitt,
So,
it has to be a roll call on the minutes. So he's saying yes. Commissioner Feliciano?
Yes.
Okay, myself, yes. Thank you for that, Susan. I forget about that. Every vote has to be a roll call, but I don't see any other votes, hopefully, on a public agenda. I don't know, too, is it have an affordable housing discussion. As the commissioners are aware, the legislature passed a law that basically said that political subdivisions of the state should look at any resources they have in terms of available land to try to create some affordable housing opportunities. And I asked to put this on the agenda because I think the county is because we have so much land here, we ought to at least put some effort into identifying some spots that might be available for affordable housing.
we got a lot of assets sitting here that maybe we could get some tax breaks through
Yeah, yeah,
and give people the housing they can afford with everything that's going on. I don't see how anybody can afford anything.
yeah, no, I know.
I'm 100% behind that, George. Our communities need this. I think that it's something that we should definitely look into. I know that we've already talked about this a little bit, and I'm 100% behind it. It's a need in our community. We need to do this for our constituents. Yes, so I would love to spearhead this with you and get this done.
Yeah, the interesting part about affordable housing, I'm not, I don't think, I don't think that the county ought to run it. I think that the privates or the nonprofit sector should run it.
Right.
You know, government really doesn't have any business in interfering with the market, but at least from my perspective. However, in this particular situation, the housing crisis has been going on for so long.
Yeah.
It's been going on for so long in terms of just the average person being able to afford a rent.
Yeah.
Especially people in the service industry. And frankly, for some of our own employees. So I think we ought to just look at our existing assets to see if there's anywhere possible here where we could make some of our land available for
Right.
that type of development, maybe speak to the housing authorities. I know
It's
that the housing,
important.
yeah, it
It's
is.
important that the public know too that if the public sector gets involved with this, that it's not going to be a tax burden for the constituents. This will have, it will not raise taxes. It won't have anything to do with the tax base. Especially if we're just providing the land for them.
Right, if we
Yeah.
provide the land, that's kind of how I'm thinking about it. We
Right.
provide some land. I mean, maybe there's some money that could be negotiated as a result of us putting out an RFP. Once we identify some spots that
Right.
we could use. Put an RFP out to the private sector or just put an RFP out and see what we get for interest.
Right.
I agree.
That's
100%.
we just got to figure out where. That's all. We got to think about that. I know we've talked about it in the past, you know, the old three-legged stool proposal that I had with Mayor Carrier and Mayor Hilliard and Mayor Callahan had an affordable housing component to it, which we were gonna shoot for at the time, 750 units as a goal countywide on a regional basis. Rochester has made some attempt to do that. Yeah,
A ton on the books.
yeah, on the books, right?
Books are right here.
Yeah. Yeah, at
Because-
some point. Well, I'll let you come in under the public discussion, so. In any event, I know in Dover, they have made some attempts to, like, for instance, get rid of impact fees and other things of that nature, and in Durham the same way. However, we got a structural problem in the economy. At least I think that's what we have. It's
Yeah.
It's
cost a lot to build.
It costs a lot to build, it's expensive, and you can't blame people from wanting to get market rate for their units. It's gonna have to take some kind of
Work.
limited government intervention in the market to try to help ease that burden on working class people. Where I've got an affinity for people who really have to work for a living. And I think they're struggling. We got people who are still living in their parents' basements when they're 40 years old, and it just doesn't, it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But so anyway, I think we'll look to see what we have here, and maybe we can come up with some ideas. And of course, anything that we come up with would have to be put before the county delegation. I'm more or less thinking about what we've done in the past here, which is a long-term lease on land, make the land available. And no county money involved.
Right.
No taxpayer money involved, just use their existing asset to try to help the situation, so.
Yeah.
Are you guys good with that? I'm sure that good with that.
Absolutely.
Alrighty.
100% behind that.
Alrighty. Okay, so we'll look around, we'll think about it some more, and maybe we can come up with some ideas. Item 3 is we got upcoming events. We got any old or new business, Mr. Bauer, at this point?
No, sir.
The warming center is coming along, just a bit of old business, the construction is.
Put the steel in place, and I think they're running the rafters today.
I saw that this morning when I went down there.
Yeah, the steel's all in place.
I did have a conversation this week with Chief Driscoll. He's going to be leading the charge on the for the emergency management directors as to when the facility will open. Hunter's indicated to me that they still think they're on schedule. So we'll just, I mean, there's nothing more I can say about it. It is what it is. So well, hopefully they'll be ready to go by November 15th, which is our scheduled time for opening. Commissioners need to talk about, I initially had spoke to the mayors regarding I took their temperature on keeping the same vendor. They basically said that they were happy with the operation and weren't interested in us changing vendors at this point. And I happen to agree with them on that, but that's something we can discuss soon at some point. Okay, that's all I've got for old and new business. Okay, item 5, questions for the public. Susan, you said you had a comment you wanted to make?
Yeah, I'm going back in on the affordable housing. If you look at the region as a whole, particularly the Tri-Cities, we have a tremendous amount of units, as what I call on the books. Okay, and a lot of it is apartments. And some of the feedback that I'm getting, and I have kind of preached it in Rochester for a few years, is that we're missing a piece in this housing for our younger people. And starter homes, and one of the things that really kind of piqued my curiosity was down here in Dover with the cottages
Yeah,
and the smaller homes, and I just got back from kind of an extensive travel out in the Midwest, but in one of the largest cities, which is very comparable to Dover or Rochester, driving through some of the neighborhoods, they had taken a neighborhood and they had redeveloped it into these smaller cottage type homes, and the way that they had done it was that the main street was the front, but then they also had a rear street where you could also park, and they had like a shed out back so that they had some storage and to be able to put their trash cans and things like that. I took some pictures of it, but it was really kind of a neat concept. And the starter homes, Sean, you know, the
I've
1,200,
worked-
1,500 square.
there's some have 600 and 700 square feet now.
Exactly. And the other thing is that I had a grandmother that was over in Kingston, at the elderly housing complex. I also grew up right next door in Newton to one. And I have visited, Covered Bridge, and that is something else that I'm beginning to see more of a need. And those are what, 450 if they're that, those are
Some go to
tiny.
6, and then there was some done in Rochester, Robert Baldwin did some,
Yeah,
and they
So-
fit like 4 houses on one acre lot.
so.
You have to have the zoning,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
key to it, is most municipalities have never been willing to change zoning
Well, I
laws.
think maybe your word, temperature, is starting to change and the climate is starting to change, and people are starting to get a little bit more vocal, and younger people are starting, I'm hearing a little bit more, that, let's face it, who wants to rent forever? You want to have, that's the American dream, is to have something of your own, and instead of, I call it throwing money away, and to give them the pride of home ownership. And it's something, just not only right here on the county complex, but setting the example throughout the rest of the county and, in some of the other communities.
and I think we need to talk with the cities too.
I think we also need to look, at talking with Strafford Regional Planning, and went through this back, cause George reminds me, I grew up in Rockingham County. We were one of the fastest growing counties in the nation. And we went through that. And Strafford County is now in that same position. And I think good planning, in doing it. So that's my soapbox.
It's gonna take some work. I mean, we're gonna have to work between the cities and us and private sector.
The
It's
zoning-
not gonna be
Yeah.
easy.
No, it's not, and it's expensive.
Exactly.
That's the problem. It's so expensive.
Well, okay, so you also mentioned regulations, and when you get into the building codes and what we now have for building codes versus what we had even 10 years ago, everything, it's horrendous
Yeah,
to build something.
yep, it really is. I see it every day.
Yeah, it's just tough. And you know that there's existing neighborhoods who don't want these
They don't
tiny,
want change.
well, they don't want these tiny homes either, so it's always been a local zoning ordinance issue. I know I dealt with it for 10 years. I'm chairman of the Dover's Planning Board. You have to have a mix of
Exactly.
housing. The community has to make that somehow happen, and in some cases, it's not going to happen. You take a very rich community like Rye or Newcastle,
That would never go down.
No.
it's never gonna happen there. And that's why you have the pressure of people moving north. But I know, I just know in Dover, things are so expensive. And as you move up the county, this has always been the way. I remember when I grew up in Dover, people could actually afford to live there. And the people I went to school with now all live in the northern part of the county, most of them. They left Dover a long time ago. So I think we can ease the pain somewhat by using some of the county assets. We just gotta figure out the right way to do it.
I mean, I don't think there's a lot that's been sold in Dover for under $200,000 in years now.
Right.
And that's a ton of money to get something out of the ground.
You can't build it for that though.
You can't, no.
And the cost of the land. That's why I think, it's the cost of construction that's killing it. I mean, we've got land here, but even then, even so, even if we donate it or come up with some agreement through some negotiated process,
It still would help the burden.
it would help it somewhat, yeah. It's just the cost of construction is so high. If you can just get the cost of construction covered and get some kind of maybe some kind of they don't have EDA grants anymore, but they have some grants similar to that in terms of keeping the cost of housing down, but at least we're gonna talk about it. We need to talk about it and see if we can't come up with something up here that makes some sense. Long term, because whatever we do, it'll be here for a long time. So you have to think about that as well.
That's doing them.
That's for sure. All righty, you got any other questions, Susan? No? Commissioner Feliciano, since you joined us by Zoom, do you have anything else you want to add?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, all righty. All right, then the chair will entertain a motion to go into non-public session for purpose of discussing personnel issues and contract negotiations. You gonna move that, Commissioner Levitt? It's been seconded by Commissioner Feliciano, I believe. I could see her on Zoom. Okay, so it's a roll call. Commissioner Levitt, Commissioner Feliciano. Well, you're not gonna be, you aren't, you'll probably have to join us by phone.
Yeah.
In executive session. Okay, so the chair will retire the commissioner non-public session. Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
What,